more plastic bag. Why plastic bags are key? Yeah, I used to remind my dustbin at home and pack my lunches. So convenient. Take one more. So they can put it in separate plastic bags, like in case the plastic bag breaks, very heavy. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the heavy items can you double bag it also, like more easy to fix. Yeah. And also, can you double bag like in separate plastic bags so that me and my friend have one each? Yeah. Okay.
Can we talk about something officially is going over here and it's not about yesterday's leftover sushi in the fridge?
Was this airport expired salmon incident?
No, this is worse. Look at this report. What do you mean by 20,000 bags in a month? Are we a plastic bag supplier now?
Boss, you know what? Some customers ask for extra. They need double bagging, triple bagging, and even bags for their bags.
Thanks, they've been asking us to cover wrap their warehouse. Do you know that we are using more plastic bags than we are selling groceries? How can? We need to make a change before drowning out with plastics.
Why don't we start charging for the bags? Just a small fee will do. 10 cents per bag. Enough to make people think twice. 10 cents? Starting next month, our store will impose a 10-cent fee per plastic bag. Every plastic bag has a cost to the environment, to the community, and to our future generations. Aww. Join us in making a change today. Why you ask? Because of people like you who take more than needed.
And I don't know, maybe it's time to switch to those reusable bags. At least we can save the environment and less clutter at home also, right? Reuse, that's what they always say. But those reusable bags, to bring it around, it's so bulky lah. It's much easier to use this kind of plastic. True, it's so inconvenient. But paying 10 cents for each bag, wow, imagine after a few months, it'll cost so much money.
10 cents is nothing. I'd rather pay that than deal with those giant ugly bags. They'll just forget at home anyways.
Wow, but if you think about it, I buy 10 bags is $1 I'd rather use the $1 to upsize my bubble tea.
Honestly, this shop's so big. Why don't you charge 10 cents per bag? You won't need to drive away customers.
Honestly, I also don't understand. Maybe that video will continue explaining why. Can't miss it.
So you still don't understand why you're imposing charges on plastic bags? Let our team of analysts explain.
Today, we'll be finding out whether plastic bag charges imposed by supermarkets will have an impact on the consumption of plastic bags. We'll be using the random sampling of supermarket customers in Singapore. Each sample point is an individual consumer's data per trip to the supermarket. We have a sample size n equal 250, and by central limit theorem, since the sample size is over 30, the distribution of the information on consumer data will be close to a normal distribution. To conduct random sampling, each sample point has to follow the independent and identically distributed model, IID. The IID model shows how the sample points follow the distribution of the population and is thus representative of the population. The independent condition requires that no observation influences another. In our research, our sample points are independent, as one customer would not affect the information of another customer. Since the sample points follow a normal distribution of population, they are identically distributed.
The independent variables would be income, items bought, reusable bag, and charges, while the dependent variable would be the plastic bag consumption. So let's go through the independent variables briefly. Income is categorized into two levels of low, middle, and high, while items bought indicates the average number of items purchased per visit. Reusable bag usage represents a binary variable where it equals to 1 if the customer uses reusable bags when they visit the supermarket, and 0 if they do not. And for plastic bag charges, they represent a continuous variable ranging from $0 to $1 in order to represent a varying realistic supermarket bag fee. Thus, our regression formula will be as follows.
As we can see, a 1 unit increase in income causes plastic bag consumption to decrease by 0.277. However, with a p-value of 0.187, we see that this relationship is not statistically significant. Next, with each additional item bought, plastic bag consumption increases by 0.270, and with each additional unit of plastic bag charges, consumption decreases by 7.76. Furthermore, on average, someone with a reusable bag uses 1.10 fewer plastic bags than someone without. Coefficients for each additional item bought, as well as plastic bag charges, are statistically significant at the 0.1% significance level. Having a reusable bag is statistically significant at the 1% significance level. Overall, with an adjusted R-square value of 60.7%, the independence variables are responsible for the 60.7% variability in plastic bag consumption.
For this study, we want to determine whether imposing charges on plastic bags have a similar effect on customers' plastic bag consumption. To test this, we have formulated two hypotheses. Firstly, we have the null hypothesis, which suggests that the imposing of charges on plastic bags do not have a similar effect on plastic bag consumption. This means that the average number of plastic bag consumption before the charge is equal to the average number of plastic bag consumption after the charge. Moving on, we have the alternative hypothesis, which suggests that the imposing of charges on plastic bags have a similar effect on plastic bag consumption. This means that there is a difference between the average number of plastic bags before and after the charges. By testing this hypothesis, we aim to find out if imposing charges on plastic bags will cause a reduction in plastic bag consumption. This will help us to understand the effectiveness of the charge on customers' behavior towards sustainable actions.
After collecting the two sets of data, no charged plastic bags and charged plastic bags, we performed a statistical test to calculate its test statistics, including t-score, p-value, and confidence interval of the data. Choosing to use two-sample t-test, we inserted both sets of data into the t-test function in RStudio, and this generated the t-value of -6.8, degree of freedom of 21.101, p-value of 9.79 e-07, and 95% confidence interval of -9.914513 to -5.271596. Interpreting the results, a large t-value of -6.8 indicates that the two-sample mean is highly deviated from the hypothesized mean, suggesting that the sample data is unlikely to be under the null hypothesis, leading to stronger evidence against it. Moreover, a low p-value of 9.79 e-07, which is less than 5% significance level, indicates that the data is considered statistically insignificant, suggesting that the observed data is unlikely to be under the null hypothesis once again. A wide confidence interval with the value of -4.642917 from 95% confidence interval indicates a greater uncertainty in the estimate, which can result from high variance in the data. Therefore, upon the interpretation of the result, we observed that imposing plastic bag charges resulted in a decrease in the average of plastic bag consumption. Thus, we made a statistical decision to reject the null hypothesis that indicates imposing charges on plastic bag does not have a significant effect on plastic bag.
Our findings from regression analysis and hypothesis testing support a combined approach to reduce plastic bag consumption by gradually increasing the plastic bag charges and promoting reusable bags. Our regression results reveal higher charges are linked to reduced plastic bag use, suggesting further increases could strengthen this effect. We also recommend dynamic pricing with progressively higher charges for each additional bag used. T-test results confirm that initial fees significantly reduce reliance on single-use bag, while reusable bag use shows a strong negative relationship with plastic bag consumption. Selling reusable bags at checkout counters would also encourage on-the-spot switching when customers see the charges. In conclusion, this approach reduces plastic bag use and supports sustainability by cutting single-use waste. Thank you for your kind attention.